Audi TT Mk1 CV boot or Gaiter inspection.
Hi all, Andy here and welcome back to the channel for a quick video today covering where and how to inspect your CV boots and gaiters. It's a common MOT failure for these cars from what I can see. So over its 18-year life, mine has failed a couple of times from the MOT history on failed or perished gaiters. Before we start, please do check out some of the other videos on my channel, one of which actually covers how to replace the front inner CV boot. A link to the channel is shown above. So without further ado, let's get underneath the vehicle and take a look at what and where you need to check on your vehicle. On each corner of the car, the Audi has an inner and outer CV or constant velocity joint. These joints are used to transmit power to the car from the drive shaft to the wheels at varying angles. The joints themselves are packed full of grease and are contained within a rubberized gaiter or boot. Over time, these boots crack and fail and the grease leaks out and the joint ends up running dry. This in turn starts to wear the joint and you might start hearing some clicking or knocking noises coming from the wheels. Common symptoms to look out for, which could be a worn CV joint. Number 1, leaking grease. Number 2, vibration or movement through the steering wheel under acceleration or cornering. Or number 3, knocking noises coming from the wheel when cornering or travelling over bumpy terrain. However, this could also be worn wheel bearings. A cracked or perished CV boot is an MOT failure in the UK and it is fairly obvious to spot. So save yourself an unnecessary retest by undertaking these checks before you head to the test centre. So looking at the rear of the vehicle first, jack it up, place it on axle stands. If you're not sure how to do this, I do cover that in another video linked on my channel here. So let's get underneath and take a look. The gaiter nearest the centre of the car is classed as the inner CV boot, and the gaiter at the outermost part of the drive shaft nearest the wheel is classed as the outer CV boot. While it is up, you are looking along the axle from the centre of the car to the wheel. At each end, you will see this rubberized gaiter. Give it a little squeeze to see if it's flexible and feel all around it and see if you can feel any grease. That one looks okay. There's no grease on the surrounding areas. If there is grease on the surrounding areas, it could mean there's a hole in it, which will be an MOT failure. However, on my vehicle, both of the rear offside gaiters seem to be okay. Moving across to the near side gaiters, again, this is the inner, feels fine, no evidence of any grease. Here is the outer one, again, it's movable, flexible, there's no sign of any grease or leakage, all looks okay.
If you need to replace, removing the outer CV boot is much simpler and easier than removing the inner CV boot.
Moving to the front, you can clearly see the outer CV joint here behind the wheel hub and the inner CV joint location, which is a little more obscured.
This is footage taken from when I replaced my failed near side front inner CV boot. Leaking grease clearly visible.
Here's a look at both gaiters with the front near side, that's the passenger side of the car drive shaft, out of the car with both inner and outer CV boots visible. Worth noting, if you do need to replace these, they tend to come as a kit, which includes the boot, a sachet of CV joint grease and the various metal clips to hold it all tight. So checking these rubber gaiters before you leave to take the car for an MOT test may save you a lot of hassle, or it may at least give you peace of mind that the CV boots are all good and it's one less thing to worry about on the car. Hopefully that gives you an insight into how to and where to inspect your CV boots and what to look for. If you have found this useful, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel to get future updates and content of videos in this series. And thanks once again for watching. See you soon.